Let's do a vibe check. Here's the scale. Bad vibes, it's not great. Not a vibe, it's just okay. It's a vibe, it's pretty good. Vibes are immaculate. That means, of course, it's the greatest. Will, what are the Mets' vibes heading into spring training?
It's a vibe, right? I mean, it's spring training. It's just getting started here. I can't go as far to say immaculate based on where things ended last season, but it's certainly a vibe. Things are different. Change is good for this club, right? Dare I say, though, if it was, say, last year, running the team back, vibes would not be as good, Sal.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like change is necessary. Change is refreshing for this club. There's a lot of things I'm intrigued about. I have a lot of questions about where things will play as far as how guys will be reacting to being part of the Mets, what positions that they're going to play, how they react to that. But I like where they're at right now.
Yeah, I agree, Will. It's a vibe, right? It really and truly is. And I think that there's a sense of urgency, clearly, with the way that everything went down last year. I mean, the manager knows it first and foremost. A lot of the guys that were on this team last year probably realized, you know what, we have to pick things up. And I think that the vibe, to me, is a little bit more encouraging, especially after the moves that the Mets have made in the last few weeks. Like bringing in Bichette and Robert and Peralta. You feel a little bit better about how this whole offseason is kind of unfolded as well. So to me, yeah, you have to be encouraged.
Come on, guys, it's immaculate.
There we go, Harp.
Immaculate. Everybody's Everybody's in the best shape of their life. Nobody started.
Hope springs eternal.
Nobody's in a slump yet. Nobody's yelling at reporters yet. Although Will might have something to say about that when he gets here. No, listen, we're going to talk about it. There's definitely some pros and cons about this team, but you got to feel good. This is the time if you don't feel good this year, you're never going to feel good.
Bob, you took the words right out of my mouth. If the vibes aren't immaculate now, before things get going, or potentially, knock on wood, injuries start to happen,
room to grow, though. Room to grow.
I know, I respect it, but I want to be excited about the season.
Still be excited.
It's a time of year.
Plus, they changed the core. I'm with you. If it were the same guys back, there's no, even if we're spring training and hope springs eternal and all that stuff, I couldn't say immaculate.
No.
I mean, maybe with Diaz, even more immaculate, but I love the spring training stuff. I get into it. Vibes are immaculate for me. Hey, Harper wrote a column where some scouts and executives, they weighed in on where the Mets stand in the NL East ahead of the 2026 season. The thing that jumped out to me, Harp, was the disparity, the variance amongst the people that you spoke to as far as how many games the Mets are going to win this year.
Yeah, that's what jumped out to me as well, Sal. I've never seen it quite the range this wide in terms of some guys really like the potential of this team, and some guys feel like there's too many holes and too many question marks. I mean, I asked for win predictions. They range from 83 to 95. That's a big range. And the key spots where the guys who don't feel as good about it have questions about, especially at the bottom half of this lineup, the offense, how good is it going to be? Especially if Benj comes along, you don't know if he's going to be there yet. And there's questions about Devin Williams. Some guys have a lot of questions about whether he's going to handle the role of closer coming in following Diaz's footsteps, all that. For the most part, the guys who feel good about the team feel really good about the starting pitching and think that can really carry this team. And then the offense will find its way along the way and feel better about Williams. But it really struck me. Some guys feel really good about this team. Other guys say, hey, I need to see a lot more.
I mean, 83, come on, that's a little low here, even for the pessimistic fan out there.
I mean, that's,
83 would be a major disappointment.
We saw it fall apart last year, though.
I know, but they're totally different this year and much better already going in with the rotation. And they have depth.
You would think.
Almost everything that could go wrong last year with the rotation did go wrong.
It's fair to say there are potential holes in this lineup, though, that could cause.
Okay, and then let me counter that for a second to the scouts and execs that you talk to. Isn't it fair to say that if there are holes that expose themselves, the Mets will go out there and try to patch them up?
Yeah, they should. But, I mean, we don't know. I mean, they're counting a lot on Carson Benj, it seems like. And everybody loves him. But you got to see him do it at the big league level. We haven't seen that yet. He didn't even hit in AAA. He was only there for 20 games or so. So that seems like still a big leap he has to make. And other than that, you need some more offense in that outfield the way it's constructed right now.
Well, is there a player in particular that you think is the most integral in the Mets reaching their ceiling?
My biggest X factor is Luis Robert Jr. for that question, really. And Harper, you nailed it with the bottom of the order, or at least the second half of the order when you're going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus the outfield, right? Because Luis Robert Jr. is a guy who he could either be a 5-win player like he was in 2023, or he could be a 1-win player like he was just last season. So when you talk about variance, to me, Luis Robert Jr. represents that for the Mets, probably more so than any other player that they have. You could talk about guys like Francisco Alvarez or Brett Beatty, but it's Luis Robert for me just because he could be that MVP type player. And if he's not, and if you're just getting defense from him, which is great, That's what you got last year out of Tyrone Taylor, and it wasn't good enough. So for me, Luis Robert is that guy for the Mets.
No, I like that one a lot, and obviously he's going to have a big say as to how this team performs this year. You could go in a lot of different areas with this Mets team. I mean, like you brought up Devin Williams, right? I mean, we all think that Diaz is going to be a big loss. If you get Milwaukee Devin Williams versus Yankees Devin Williams, Mets are going to be a lot more stable in the back end of that bullpen. I mean, you could talk about a guy like, for example, Polanco, having him come in and play first base, who hasn't done that on a consistent basis really ever in his career. But the guy that I'm going to point to as being on top of the heap here, what was the Mets' Achilles heel all last season more than anything? It was the starting pitching. Right. They went out and got Freddie Peralta to be the quote-unquote ace. So if Freddie Peralta comes in and pitches like the guy that David Stearns thinks he can and the guy that we really saw in Milwaukee, on top of some of these other youngsters that you hope grow into this role in another season, I think this is a huge X factor for this Mets team and can really shape how they're going to perform over the next 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's unfair to call Benj an X factor because we haven't even seen him yet. He's not there yet. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to fall back on Alvarez. I mean, I agree with you about Robert for sure, but Alvarez, is he ever going to be that guy that we thought he was going to be? He did come back after he went to AAA last year and showed some signs of being a more complete hitter, but he's ever going to be that difference maker, that power guy that would make such a difference in the bottom of this lineup. We got to see that.
I do think it's a pitching, though, because I trusted the Mets. Not everybody 1 through 9 is going to hit all the time in every lineup. I don't care who you are. And I like the fact that the Mets have some pieces, whether it's Benj, who has a high upside, Robert, Alvarez, all those guys fit the bill of like, okay, they could all hit 20 home runs. Maybe they hit a little bit less and have a down year. But it's still, to me, better than it was a year ago. The rotation is significantly better going in than it was a year ago.